bye week. What do you see from the offense in terms of how are guys refreshed? How are they kind of like getting back into the swing of things?
Yeah, I thought Coach Silverfield did a really good job about playing the practice last week so we can get some work in, but still get ourselves back. That's to me, I've never been there, but that would be the hardest thing for a head coach is how do we get work in, but also get our legs back, get our, I'm not gonna say injured, but guys who've been week whatever it is of the season, you're going to have some bumps and bruises. So getting them back, still getting good work in, which we did last week. Today was a very high energy fly around practice, so I'm excited about it.
How you know how big is from a mental standpoint, just kind of being able to reset and refocus?
Yeah, I mean that's it's a game of football. You know what I mean? And you got to do that every Sunday, win, loss, no matter what happens. You got to refocus on Sunday. But for where we're at in the season, to be able to get away, to get some serious self-scouting, get our legs back, get our minds back. And that was a big thing over the bye week. Get our minds right, get our bodies right. So I thought we did a good job of that last week. Got good work in last week. Also got them off their feet a little bit last week, and then went to work again. Sunday today. And I think we're in a good place right now. I think.
So you guys did a good job, you guys. I noticed against East Carolina, you guys went to preschool a little bit early. Was that part of the strategy you saw that was a matchup thing, or is that something you guys are maybe trying to use a little bit more just because he has been so effective?
Yeah, I mean we target him about 8-9 times a game, and if you look around the country to see tight ends, that's I don't have the stats, but that's going to be pretty high for tight end targets. You know what I mean? So he's a guy we're trying to get matched up against, who we want to get him matched up against, linebackers, DBs, whoever we're trying to get him there. And, he is quickly becoming, or has already become, one of Seth's favorite targets. You know what I mean? So he's done a good job when he has been targeted. And Seth, I talked about before, but Seth has done a good job of kind of going through his read. It sometimes just leads you to Caden. You'd like to take all the credit and say every ball we throw to Caden was 100% set up for him. Sometimes your read just takes you to those places, 60% of the time it's set up to go to him. The other 40% of his catches probably he's read 2, read 3, and we just get to him that way. But he's done a great job of getting open and making himself available. And for those people who play the quarterback position, you start seeing that from certain receivers. So you never go away from your read, but you kind of have an idea where he is and what he's running.
Do you see where he's kind of maybe adjusting? I know teams are trying to double team him a little bit in the red zone. Do you see him kind of adjusting to find more ways to get open when teams are playing from him?
Yeah, he's done a really good job. Watching the film against Tulane, he broke 2 routes off, which he's allowed to do, of course. He just didn't go on his own, but he's supposed to run this, and he kind of was in his sandbox and kind of fell off and did a little something different. So, to me, him and Seth on the same page, that's big time.
When you talk about guys responding to mistakes, Eddie Lewis had the muff punt, but then after that, he was a real big factor for you guys in the offense. Same with Kobe Drake. How did you like the way they responded to those mistakes?
I love the way. Now I'm gonna talk offense. That's what I work with. I love the way the offense responds. I love their toughness. I love their fight. There's mistakes being made, no question. You know what I mean? But I love the fight. To them, something I've preached since I got here, something Coach Silverfield preaches, something we preach in the program, live in the now, and that's kind of what we're doing. So what's happened in the past is done, is finished, Don't let it turn into a second mistake. So I was happy for Eddie, proud of Eddie for what he did, bouncing back, made some plays for us, 2 big plays for us in that game, and, got us close and gave us a fighting shot at the end.
Do you feel like that's kind of something that needs to happen against UCF this week, because you guys had quite a bit of turnovers last week?
Yeah, I'd rather go back to the beginning part of that question, I think, and let's not have that. Let's not have the mistakes. Let's fix those. And that's what we're out here practicing last week and practicing this week, and preaching on the self-scout as to what I feel is holding us back. And that's what we're trying to fix last week, trying to fix this week, and move forward. So, yes, we got to keep the fight. Yes, things are going to go wrong in a football game, but we got to cut down those big mistakes, or even the little things that are leading to big mistakes, and just continue to play.
When you guys talk about self-scouting, what do you see as maybe contributing to some of those turnovers, you think?
Yeah, I could sit right now. There's a couple. We talk offensively. It's been some interceptions. Just a little bit of a high ball that got tipped in the ECU game. Another one in the ECU game that could have gone both ways, down the middle of the field, and very handsy defense in that situation. That could have gone both ways. The pick the other day was another tip ball that bounced up in the air. Unfortunately, those things kind of happen, inexcusable in those situations, but sometimes those things happen. It's tip ball. It's not like we're making the wrong read and throwing it right to somebody. So we got to cut down on those. We got to put our guys in good situations. We got to make great decisions. Myself and the quarterback got to make great decisions on when we take a shot and when we take what the defense gives us, and we got to hold on to it. I mean, you can look at football across any level, any game you play. Went to my boys' 8U football game the other day, and the team that had the most turnovers lost the game. NFL games, team that had the most turnovers lost the game. So we got to hold on to the ball, as we were early in the year, and give us a shot.
When you're looking at those turnovers, kind of what you said about the balls being tipped or whatnot, do you kind of have a different, when you evaluate them, you kind of evaluate those differently than, say, just like a poorly timed throw or getting stripped when it's like a tip ball or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, to an extent. It's one thing if you flat out make the wrong read or flat out run the wrong route, you know what I mean? And it's another thing when you have man coverage and you put the ball and the ball gets tipped up, you know what I mean? So, some of them are location things, some of them are good plays by defenses, some of them are decisions where we could have gone to the next read, Now, we know everyone there are, we've watched everyone there are, we're trying to get better on that type of stuff.
And when you're not having those type of mistakes where it's because of a misread or a wrong route, is it easier to coach that out of when it's not scheme mistakes that somebody?
Yeah. I'm not saying it's not scheme. It's just I got to make better calls in some situations. We got to make better throws. We got to do everything. The whole group together has to do it. So to me, it's you're coaching that every single day. We're not just spending time on it now. We coach ball security. We coach great decision making. We coach make the right call to put the guys in the right position, and to keep the turnovers to a very minimum. We're trying to get less than one turnover per game. I know that means zero, but real life stuff happens. You know what I mean? But as we say, by the end of the season, if you have less than one turnover per game, you're doing a pretty decent job in that category. So we just got to do a good job, and it's a mindset as much as anything.
With Gabe and Asa likely being closer to health, how much is it going to be important for them to kind of just have that versatility, just to have more options out there who can
yeah, you got to be healthy, man. Got to be healthy. That's part of the formula for having a good season, is make sure all the guys are out there. So it'd be good to get those guys back. It'd be good to get them running around, for one, for them, and two, for other guys, so we can do what we want to do and keep people fresh. Play with the right amount of receivers, play with the right amount of running backs, so we're fresh in the fourth quarter. We're not overloading people. So it'd be good to get those guys back.
Yeah, I don't think we asked about Sutton's game against Tulane, but just obviously with him stepping up, how good has it been to kind of get him out there? Because I know you guys have been really.
Yeah, he's in the development process, which is awesome. What he's doing, I think people might be excited about what he did with the ball in his hands. I'm more so excited again about football things and watching what he does in the protection. He's fine with the ball in his hands. That's natural. You know what I mean? Productivity follows people. So he was productive as heck in high school. He's going to be productive as heck in college, but there's some difference at the high school level to the college level of pass protection, of making sure you're in the right spots, running the routes the right way, all that type of stuff, which he really did a really good job of on Saturday. He picked up a couple corner crashes, which is, football talk, but it's huge for a running back. To be able to have his eyes over here and then quick get his eyes back there and pick up that protection for us. He did a really good job of that.
In your experience of coaching, when you're talking about the protection part now with the ball in your hand, how quickly do the younger guys gravitate towards it?
It's a case-by-case scenario with that type of stuff, and Sutton's he's done a good job of it. And like I said, until, we make practices as close to game as possible, but until you step on that field Saturday and you're in the kitchen, as they say, that's when you really find out. And again, I thought he did a good job, so I feel confident with him in the game.
How important is that for a young back? Because obviously you mentioned guys when they get the ball in space, that's what they love to do. But for a young back or even an experienced one, for you, how important is that just with them being able to pass protect as much as be able to get out in space?
Yeah, I mean that's part of being a complete back, and you could tell his excitement as well when it starts to slow down. If you ask any high school kid who goes from high school to college, what's the biggest difference? It's the speed of the game, and all of a sudden when that game starts to slow down for you, then that's when your developmental process, when you're maturing as a player. And then again, he did a fine job on Saturday, so expect him to continue doing that.
So I guess what maybe going into this game now against another tough defense, what do you take away from that first half against Tulane, to where you guys know you have to try to put that behind and try to work on that? Because the second half obviously was a much greater development than
we can't have those. Can't have him as a play caller. We can't have him as people that trying to execute those plays, and you guys get sick of me saying it, but, you got to play the next snap and you got to execute the next snap, and every coach in America will tell you that, you know what I mean? Yes, I put it upon myself to make better calls and put them in better situations, so it's my job to make the right call. It's player's job to execute the play, and that's what we got to do. And then we went back in halftime, I think, and, you got caught up in a storm there. They went down, scored. We went 3 and out. They scored. They returned a punt. All of a sudden, it's never panic mode, but you can kind of sense that. What you need to do is step back, take a deep breath, like we did at halftime. We didn't go into halftime and start screaming and yelling. And it's, guys, everyone just start over. Take a deep breath and execute the next play, period. And we did that. You know what I mean? And we ran out of time there at the end of the game. But you can't have that, Can't have that, and we've had it a couple times this year. Mississippi State first half, Temple first half, in Tulane first half, and that we can't have those. Yes, we have great fight. Yes, we have great togetherness to be able to pull together and rebound on some of those things. You know what I mean? But we got to stop putting ourselves in those situations and play the complete game.
And then this being homecoming, how big will the crowd be in trying to get back on the right foot?
Yeah, it's everybody, man. It's everybody. And Coach Silverfield made that point on whatever day that was last week when we got all together again, where it's everybody in the program, from head coach to myself to defensive coordinator to assistant coaches to GAs to training room to nutritionists to the strength staff to the SID department, everyone in the program. And the crowds, the fans got to be on part of that as well, and get us back on track. How do we get back on track? We play one on this Saturday. And then when that's successful, then we play 2. And that's how you live life. That's how we're trying to get our guys, how I try and get myself to live my life that way. And that's where we can't worry about play 10. We can't worry about play 20. It's play 1. That's all we got to worry about right now, and that's what we're preparing for. But, yes, I want the fans to be there and be loud and be obnoxious and help us as much as possible, because it's a good I don't know anything about their offense, but they seem to be pretty good over there because I don't watch them. But it's a good defense. It's a good defense who's fast, who's athletic, who plays with confidence, who runs around, and the defense coordinator believes in them. So, we got to be really dialed in play 1. And when that happens, then we'll go to play 2.
Is it fun kind of playing against another defense that's kind of similar to is it similar to Tulane in a way? Because I know that the numbers are similar, but are they similar to Tulane in some way with what they do well as far as athleticism?
Yeah, I would say, and there's no disrespect to Tulane, they're probably more athletic than Tulane. Tulane, I would say, was more of a disciplined, be where you're supposed to be, play hard operation. These guys do that, and they have some athletic ability with that as well. So, we got to be able to execute play 1. Again, you guys get tired of me saying the same thing over and over again, but that's what we're trying to preach. That's what we're trying to preach. Win play 1. All right, when play 1's over, we'll take care of play 2, and that's how you become consistent. That's how you don't play in hills and valleys, which we're doing too much of right now. You know what I mean? And that's how we become better. I make the right call, they execute that play. Second play, we'll go from there. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you.